Greetings everyone. Welcome to another session of online yoga here at Northeastern University. My name's Evan, Mindfulness Fellow, and we'll be going through roughly an hour of practice today. So if you'd like to join me first, just find a nice comfortable seat and we'll settle in for a bit of meditative grounding. So I invite you to close your eyes and just connect to your breath a bit initially here. Settle into the space that you're in. Maybe take this opportunity to drop anything, any expectations, any worries, or any stress. And we'll do that by taking 3 breaths together. So first exhale any air you hold in your chest. Then inhale deep and full through your nose. Filling the body, the lungs, and then sigh out with an exhale. One more time, breathe in through the nose, full and deep. And then exhale out to release. Last time, breathing in through the nose, coming in here and now, and letting go, and dropping in. Bring hands together at heart center if you'd like to join for the chanting of an Om. Again, exhale first, then inhale for sound. Gently open your eyes, return to the space. Begin to move on your mat. So I'm going to get back to mine and just make sure everything's adjusted. Make sure you have a place of comfort and stability wherever you're at. So starting with legs crossed in front of you. Start to inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Just get nice and tall here. Extend the arms up. Maybe clasp hands together and just reach a bit more. You take a steeple grip where you point the 2 fingers up higher and reach just a bit more. Bring the arms parallel to the ears. Keep a straight back and grounded hips the whole time. Sitting tall, breathing. And then slightly bend over to your left side. Keep both hips grounded and use your core to keep yourself stabilized. Reach high and then bend over to the left. Inhale, back up. And then exhale over to the right side. A few breaths here to create length. Inhale, back up through the top. Then exhale, draw the hands down behind your back, clasp your hands together, and then roll your shoulders to lift the chest, gaze up towards the ceiling. Allow your head to be heavy, but use your shoulders, engage your back, and press your chest forward at the same time. With an exhale, you can fold forward and down, keeping the bind, and allow the chest to reach towards the legs. Drop the head down to the floor, or wherever is comfortable for you. Next inhale, bring yourself back up through center. Slowly unroll the shoulders, then release the bind. Bring the arms to about parallel to the ground. Do some small arm circles at first, counterclockwise, rotating front to back. And then make those circles bigger and larger until you're really making full big circles, rotating completely, your max range of motion with your arms. And then bring that back into a small circle, and then change directions, going small now forward, clockwise rotation, depending on your orientation. And then make those circles larger and larger as well until you begin to catch your full range of motion with your shoulders. Once you're there, you can bring hands out to the sides once more, hold, and then bring the hands in front. Touch palms together and press. Use your chest muscles here to engage and activate. Your hands firmly pressing together. Should feel strong engagement in your shoulders and in your chest muscles. Again, mindfully breathing throughout the process. And then inhale to bring your arms wide, extend all the way, open the chest like a big bird. And then exhale, hands come down to the mat or the ground beside you. Switch your legs. So one leg was in front, switch it out for the other just to get a change for the hips. And with your hands on the sides, keep a straight back. And we'll just do some Sufi circles, kind of rotating with the chest, the upper back, forwards and backwards. Again, keep the hips grounded, but just kind of oscillate your body here. Rotating one direction first. Let all of your movements be fluid and synchronized with the breath. Then we'll change direction. Breathing in as you come forward, perhaps, and exhaling as you draw back. Getting shoulders, neck, and head all involved. Find some stillness, come to center. And then we'll roll over forward, coming up to tabletop position. So from tabletop, again, just kind of carrying through with that Sufi circle idea, create some fluid movement in the hips, side to side, forward, back, just kind of rolling, shifting what feels good for you right now. This is an opportunity to listen to your intuitive body, give it what it calls for. There's really no right or wrong answer. Maybe raise a leg, maybe raise an arm, whatever feels good right now. Let's take the next few breath cycles to navigate on your own. Invite a little bit of cat and cow into your movement if you'd like, some spinal waves. And again, try to pair your movement with your breath anytime possible. Breathing in as you move up and exhaling as you move down. Come through to child's pose. Bring your knees about mat width apart. Press your hips back. Hands can be out in front and head can be heavy, resting on the mat. Take a few breaths here in child's pose. It's a good opportunity to set an intention or, again, release anything that may be on your mind from the day that you've just had. Just rest here briefly. And then take one big breath in through your nose. And exhale out through your mouth. Press yourself back up through tabletop. Bring your knees directly under your hips and your arms and hands directly underneath your shoulders. So with a flat back first and toes tucked underneath, lift the knees just off the mat. Hover here and try to find some stability, some strength, and shift your weight forward and back over your wrists. Get forward and back, creating a nice pressure over the wrist joints, strengthening those muscles, those forearms as well. Then drop the knees slowly, and we'll flip the wrists so the back of the hand is now on the mat, and the fingertips can point towards each other. Start first just by rocking forward and back, creating a bit more pressure if this is okay for you. And then maybe you flip the toes and you come up, lifting the knees briefly, or just one knee at a time. At first, right, then left. No need to overdo it or overstrain. Once you're done there, flip the hands so that the palms and the fingers are now pointing towards the knees. And again, we'll shift the weight back over the hips and draw the heels of the hands down towards the mat. So press the weight back and feel the heel really connect as much as you can. You should feel this really strongly in your forearm muscles, opening and lengthening there. A lot of typing and writing, these muscles can get overworked. Go ahead, bring your hands back to neutral and close your fists and just make small circles one at a time. Right hand first, both orientations. And then left hand. With a closed fist both times. And then bring hands back down to the mat. Again, flip the toes, lift the knees, hover here just for a brief moment. Really find stillness for a moment. Just hold and breathe into your core. Connect to your hands, your palms, your fingers. And then inhale, shift your hips up and back, straighten your legs out. Give them a pedal if you'd like, and come into downward facing dog. So reaching into the mat with the hands, hips coming high, and head relaxed down. Try to align the feet with the hips and the legs. Find any length in the back that you can. Over time, if you pedal your feet out, you may notice that your heels start higher and can slowly work their way down to the bottom into the mat. A few more breaths here, breathing with intention and a little bit more effort. And then as you inhale, slowly drop your knees down once more. But this time, instead of staying in table, we're going to lower our chest and our chin down to the mat. So Ashtanga Namaskar, 8-limbed pose. So the hands are planted, the elbows tucked by your side, the knees and the toes are on the ground, and your chest and chin are also touching. Really focus on trying to bring an arch into the lower back here. Create length. And with your next breath in, slide forward into a baby cobra. So hands are going to be placed directly under your shoulders, legs will be straight behind you, and you'll just use your back muscles to lift up gently at first. Holding here, engaging the back. Lifting the chest just a bit higher now. Use your arms to press yourself up into a full cobra extension if that's accessible today. And then slowly maybe walk your hands a bit closer. Try to align them underneath your shoulders. And then lift the legs so that you're in an upward facing dog. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And then with an exhale, shift the hips up and back, flip the hips, Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. With your next breath in, gaze up between the hands, and then walk your way tiptoe towards the front of the mat so that the feet both come to the front and meet the hands there. Bend your knees a lot, sufficiently enough so that your chest comes down to your thighs. And when you're here, slowly straighten the legs. It's easier to straighten the legs after instead of coming down straight. So bending the knees, touching the chest, maybe using your arms to assist, and then trying to straighten the legs after. Bring the hands together at the elbows, linking arm and arm. And just sway side to side. Allow gravity to pull you, your upper half down towards the mat. And don't be afraid to shift a little bit of weight into the balls of your feet. Release the arms down, and with an inhale, come up to a halfway lift. Head straight here, kind of pointing your gaze facing down, flat back in line, chest lifted. Exhale, fold slowly back down to the mat. And then inhale, slowly rolling up. Allow your head and arms to be heavy and be the last thing to look up. Take an inhale, reach the arms high overhead. And then slight back bend at the top. And as you exhale, draw hands together, heart center, standing tall at the top of your mat. Close your eyes, take a breath to check in here. Notice your body, notice your breath. We'll move through some sun salutations. So as you exhale, drop your hands down to your sides. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale to that half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, bend the knees, and step yourself back through high plank, low plank. Chaturanga, so then to upward dog. And shift the hips up, downward dog. Finding more stability now, more strength. 3 deep intentional breaths. With effort. And connection through each one. Inhale, gaze up towards your hands. And again, bend the knees first, and then slowly walk yourself up towards a forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale down to a fold. And then inhale, slowly coming back up all the way through to stand. Arms sweep overhead. Exhale, hands together, heart center. Take one breath in. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hand, step, or jump yourself back through to chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. We get 3 breaths here. And with your next inhale, gaze up between the hands, and you can step or load and then jump yourself to the front of the mat, meeting the half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up all the way to stand, and exhale, hands together, heart center. Samasthiti, Surya Namaskara B. Inhale, arms sweep up, hands together, coming into Utkatasana chair pose for a moment. And then exhale down to that forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back. Chaturanga, upward dog. Adho Mukha, downward dog. Inhale, the right foot steps forward, plant it between the hands, drop the heel down on the left foot, and sweep the arms up for warrior one. Align the hips and the shoulders, straighten the back leg. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, plant both firmly, lift the right leg first, step it back, move through chaturanga once more. Urdhva Mukha, Adho Mukha. Left leg steps forward with an inhale, grounding the right heel this time, arms sweep up, warrior one, other side. Reach high, and then exhale, arms come down. Plant firmly, left leg steps back up. Move through chaturanga, upward dog, and downward dog. Breathing here deeply, 3 breaths. Feeling the heat build in your body. And then inhale, gaze up between your hands and load the legs, step or jump yourself to the front of the mat. Inhale to that half lift. Exhale to a fold. And then exit back through Utkatasana chair pose. Inhale, arms up. And exhale all the way up to a stand. Hands together, heart center. Close your eyes once more. Check in with the body, the breath. Just take a moment for yourself right now. Pause. The next breath in, inhale, step the right leg out so you're facing the long edge of your mat, wide-legged forward fold. Arms out to the sides. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, folding forward and down. Feet should be about parallel, and hands can be placed between the feet or maybe a bit behind. Inhale first to lift, and then exhale to fold forward, reach the head towards the mat. Holding here for 3 breaths. Finding length in the spine where you can, as well as the hamstrings. Inhale up to a half lift. Place the hands on the hips, and then inhale yourself up all the way to stand. Bring the feet in just a bit, and then point the toes on the right foot forward. Arms up to the sides, and then reach your right arm towards your right leg, and then fold down into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Gaze up towards the left hand, towards the ceiling, finding length in the body. Try not to collapse down. Keep the body straight, use the core, and open with that twist. You can tent the fingers, you can place it on your shin, wherever you feel comfortable and strong here. With your next inhale, your left arm is going to pull you back up, and then switch the feet now. So left foot points towards the rear of the mat, and then same thing, other side. Your arm will pull you in that direction, and then down towards the mat. Staying tall, staying strong and long in the body. Right leg grounded, left toes point forward. Inhale, right arm pulls you back up through to stand. Switch the feet once more. And then the left arm is going to sweep across the body into a twist. Parivrita, Trikonasana, revolved triangle pose. Left hand comes to the mat, right arm reaches high. Try to bring the hips aligned, so that means driving your right hip backwards a bit, just to get in alignment there. And then gaze up towards the right fingertips. Your next inhale, bring your right hand down and then up and sweep yourself. Your reverse cartwheel the other direction. So left foot points forward, right foot now kind of crossing. Right arm crosses the body. With an exhale, you fold forward and down. Other side now, reaching for that mat with your right arm. And then gaze up towards the ceiling as you can. Straightening the leg, finding length in the hip. And then again, sweep the arms up, right and left, both come back through to parallel to the mat. Point both feet parallel to the long edge. Again, inhale to lift the chest. This time, exhale, drop the hands behind your back, clasp them together. Roll the shoulders back, lift the head, and then exhale to fold forward and down, Prasarita seat. Engage the scapula muscles here to create some extra strength and really lead with the chest pressing forward. One more breath here, finding length where you can. And then slowly inhale yourself back up all the way to stand. Release the clasp, arms out to the side. Point both toes out towards the edge of the mat. Maybe walk them in a bit. and come down towards goddess squat. So knees should still be stacked under ankles, or over ankles rather, so I'm going to walk my feet just a bit more. And then try to press your hips open and keep the arms high. Holding here, chest lifted, back straight. And just feel the strength building in your legs. Feel the fire building with your breath. Intentional breathing here for a few more. And then as you exhale one more time, bring your hands down towards the mat, shift both feet forward again, and then we'll start to shift our weight over one side and the other. Moving through Skandasana. Use your hands to walk yourself through, or keep your hands together at heart center and lunge using the strength of your legs. Keep both feet grounded if you can. If you need to come up onto a heel, that's totally fine. Or I guess lift the heel, that's totally fine as well. We'll shift the weight all the way to the front of the mat, meeting on the right leg. And once you're there, lift the foot or point the toes of the foot towards the ceiling on the long leg. So from here, that hamstring is going to be fully extended. Try to ground in with the heel if you can. And then once you're there, plant the right hand down on the mat. Lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. If this is comfortable for you, you can bring your left hand behind your back and your right hand forward and around your knee. Maybe you can clasp the hands together here and hold and deepen this lunge. Gaze still stays up towards the ceiling. Find length where you can for one more breath. And then inhale to reach the left arm high, place it down on the mat, and use your hands to support you as you move back through center. Walk the legs close together, coming down into Malasana. And again, we'll go for crow position here. So place both hands either on the outer edge of your mat, or if you'd like to turn so you have more grip, you can bring them towards the front. I like to position myself first by straightening the arms and shifting the hips high. Then I bring my knees to the back of my triceps and try to stack them on top as I bend my elbows. Once my elbows are bent to about 90 degrees, I can shift my weight forward and lift one foot at a time, coming to a nice strong platform, using my triceps as somewhat of a table. Gaze is forward, chin is high. This will actually help you with your balance as well. And then come down at any point if you'd like to reset. You can also have your triceps more in the insides of your thighs. This can help at a beginner level, making it more accessible. The key is to really try to bring your arms to about 90 degrees to create that strong platform, and then find the balance over your wrists. Showing more if you're really going well here, you can go for a crane, which is just bringing your knees up towards the armpits, keeping the arms straight, and then balancing with arms straight as well. Wherever you're at today, give it a few more moments of play. And then come back down through Malasana. I'm starting at the long edge of my mat, so we can all continue from there. Hands together at heart center. Take one breath in and out. Place the hands down, lift the hips up, and then slowly roll up all the way to stand. Inhale, arms sweep high. And exhale, hands together at heart center. Take a big step forward to the front of the mat. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, down to a fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, plant the hands. Step or jump back through, low plank. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Few breaths here. Then you'll inhale to reach your right leg up high, And then step it forward to the outside of the right hand. Drop the left knee, come into lizard lunge. Let the right leg turn so you can see it a bit better. Let the right leg peel open and out and come down to your elbows. The foot on the right side can also open and peel too. So coming here, your hip opening, body relaxing, and as always, breathing intentionally. With your next breath, slowly begin to work your way back up through and reset the hip and the foot so that it's pointing the same direction to the front of the mat. First thing we'll do is lift the left knee up off the ground and reach the right arm high for the ceiling. Twist the body, try to open as much as you can with that arm now reaching back behind you. Strengthen the left hand, lifting your upper body off the mat. Try not to collapse into it. And then exhale, hand on the right side comes down to the mat. Switch the foot now so the heel's planted and left hand reaches up high. Exhale, reach the left hand behind the back. Try to bind against your hip first. And then take your right arm underneath and try to bind as well. If you're bound here, both hands holding on to each other, you can go for what's called bird of paradise. So take a step forward with your left foot, connect it to the front of the mat where your right foot is, and then slowly begin to shift your weight into the left foot and lift the right leg up high. Once you're here, I'll turn so you can see a bit better. Try to straighten the right leg as much as you're able, and also lift the chest at the same time. Holding your bird wherever you can. And then slowly bring yourself down. Plant the leg. Step the other one back. Then release the bind. Both hands down to the mat. Right leg lifts. Step it back high. And then move through a three-legged chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. 2 breaths here, in through the nose, and a big sigh out. Again, breathing in deep and full, and release. Gaze up at your hands, front of the mat. Inhale to lift up onto your toes, load the legs, step or jump to the front. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale to a fold. And then inhale, coming back up all the way, rolling arms high to the top. Exhale, hands together, heart center. Inhale, step the left leg out, or right leg, long edge of the mat. Same thing once more. Inhale, arms out to the side, chest high. Exhale, fold forward and down. Take your peace fingers and try to catch your big toes. And then inhale to lift your chest. And exhale to fold forward and down. Taking the bind here, creating length in the upper neck and the back. Use your hands to pull a bit deeper, and then inhale to a half lift. Exhale, hands to hips, and then inhale, standing up all the way back through center. Shift your right foot forward on the mat again, arms out wide. Bring them to your chest and twist as you bend your knee, coming into a revolved side angle. So left elbow is going to be touching right knee to start. So we're starting in the twist, open with the right arm high, and maybe reach the right arm down towards the mat if that's accessible. Try to maintain strength in your right knee, not caving in and opening the hips. And then with your next exhale, bring your hands back together, heart center. Slowly, carefully unwind your twist. Shift the feet, pointing the other direction. This time, right elbow is going to come towards left knee and open that twist. Next step is going to be left arm reaches up high and right hand reaches down towards the mat. Holding here, engaging the left knee, the left adductors. And bring hands together, heart center. Slowly coming up, unwinding, switching directions once more. And this time, just bring your right elbow on top of your right knee. Left hand reaches high, coming into right side angle. Try to align the whole upper level of your body with that angle of your leg. So wherever you're at, reaching high, arm and leg and hips should be all in one straight line. Try not to dump too much, just keeping it at an angle. If you'd like to go a bit further, you can bring your hand down towards the mat. But again, you'd have to shift your hips and arm to account and keep that angle in line. Finding length where you can. Then inhale, come back up through standing, shift the feet. Left elbow to left knee. Right arm reaches up and across, left side angle. Finding length, finding strength. And again, keeping that leg strong. You can lower yourself a bit deeper into that by placing your hand on the inside. With your next inhale, come back up through to stand. Both feet pointing once more, parallel towards the long edge of the mat. Inhale, arms out to the side. Exhale to the hips, and then fold for the last time, Prasarita B. Taking a few short breaths here. And then we'll offer a headstand. So you could place your hands down on the mat. And if it's accessible to you, try to bend your knees enough that your head can also come down. Straighten the legs at first and keep the arms and the head in a triangle position on the mat. So hands behind head, head in front, arms back, and also tucked. Once you're there, head down, legs behind, you can slowly shift more weight up to your head, and then ultimately lift the legs up and point them towards the ceiling. Open the legs, and gently bring them back down to the mat coming out of headstand. Take your time there with tripod if you'd like to go for it. I'll demo it once more from the other side, and I'll give you a few moments to play around. So keep the arms, again, about shoulder distance apart. From a wide-legged forward fold, you'll bring your head down to the mat first. Keep the elbows aligned, not flared out. We want them to be tucked in. And then slowly shifting weight over your head. Bring your legs up and find balance at first. Again, making sure the arms aren't flared out akimbo. Straighten the legs. Hold here for as many breaths as comfortable. Before beginning to lower the legs first, and then bring them back down towards the mat and come out. From the side, long edge, we'll shift our hips once more, going through Skandasana, taking a breath to move through or let go of that last posture. Again, hands can be useful to move you across the mat, or you can keep them up at heart center. We'll meet this time on the other leg, whichever one we didn't do previously. For me, it's the left, but that may be different for you back home. Once you're there, try to straighten the other leg. Elongate the hamstring and point the toes towards the ceiling. Use your proximal arm next to the bent knee, grounded to the mat, and then the other arm reaches high. If you're comfortable there, you can bring the high arm behind you and the low arm reaches as well, and you try to clasp hands together for the bind. Creating length and space. Solidly rooted with the heel and the foot. And then inhale, right arm reaches high, plant them both, and shift your hips all the way through. Hands to hips once more with an exhale, halfway lift. Inhale, standing tall, back through your center. Take a big step towards the front of your mat. Arms reach high, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step or jump through, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Left leg steps up towards the ceiling. And with an exhale, draw towards the outside of your left hand. First thing, drop the right knee. And then we'll reach the left arm high, twisting, again, opening. Inhale to bring the left arm back up. And we'll come through for a quick foray into lizard lunge. So again, peel that knee outwards, allow your elbows to drop down, and find some length, letting gravity open your knee for you. So your right hip lowering towards the mat ever more. Take one more breath here, full and deep, relaxing into this posture. As you inhale, roll the feet and the hips back up together, both hands planted, and this time with the right leg bent, or straight rather. Plant the heel onto the mat and lift the right arm high towards the ceiling. Hold here, make sure your leg is strong in the left side, and then bring your right hand behind you. Try to wrap it under your hip. From here, left arm feet underneath through the leg, and try to connect with the bind. If you're bound and feeling strong, you can take a step forward with your with your right foot, and then slowly begin to shift weight into the right foot. The left foot gets lighter, and you get taller, and the leg becomes straighter. Holding here, finding length in your bird. Slowly begin lowering down. With control, planting both feet, stepping the right leg back, then release the bind, and then lift to unwind. Left leg high, move through chaturanga, upward dog, and into your downward dog. We'll take 3 big breaths together here. In through the nose, and out through the mouth. Again, fill the body, and release, empty the body. Last time, all the way in, and release. Inhale, gaze up between the hands, and slowly come into a seated posture. I'm going to rotate 180 degrees. You can stay where you are, legs coming out in front. Take a moment in Dandasana. Just collect ourselves. Be tall and long in the body. Hands planted. Place the hands about a foot behind you, behind your hips. Point the toes forward and then lift the hips up. Engage the low back. Drop the head and press the hips towards the ceiling. A few more breaths here. And then slowly lower the hips down. Take a brief moment, bring the hands forward, and then lift the legs up towards boat. Navasana. Try to keep the back straight and the core engaged. Lift the shoulders, lift the chest, and just breathe with the arms and legs lifted. 3 more breaths. 2, 1. And then without lowering the legs, place the hands on the mat and try to lift yourself just for a moment and then come back down through boat once more. Legs straight, chest high. 3 more breaths. 2, and 1. Slowly lower yourself all the way down to the mat. And we'll move through 3 iterations of back bending, so either bridge or wheel. I'll show you a bridge pose first, and then I'll move through 2 versions of wheel. So step 1 is to bring your feet up towards your hips, plant them by just below and about hip width apart. Once you're stable there, we're just gonna shift the pelvis up and down. See if you can feel the imprint of your lower back on the mat with your hips shifted up, your pelvis anteriorly rotating. And once you're there and you feel that anterior rotation, you press your hips up towards the ceiling and engage the lower back once more. You can take your hands behind your back and try to bind them together, coming up onto your shoulders, and drive the hips a bit higher. Breathing here for 5. Keep the knees together. 4, 3, head looking up. 2, and 1. And slowly lowering with the upper back first, ultimately then the lower back, and then ending with the hips. Taking 1 breath here to refocus, center back in. For wheel, place the hands up by your shoulders and we'll press all the way up at one time. You can do this version, or you can go through bridge once more, or we're going through 2 more. So you can do either, it's up to you, whatever you feel like moving through today. But to show you bridge, again, feet planted by the hips, hands bent at the elbows, inverted so fingertips are almost touching shoulders. And then with that same motion of the hips, you're going to inhale and drive the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Once you're there, find some stability. Make sure your hands are placed underneath your shoulders and you're strong and long, exactly where you need to be. You can experiment by shifting your weight forward and back. 3, 2, and 1. To lower from wheel, slowly come down to your head first, and then shift all the way down to your back. Again, tailbone the last thing to touch. We'll take 1 breath here, in through the nose, and out. Before we get too tired, we'll go through our last round. Place hands for wheel or hips prepared for bridge, and inhale to come up. And find your length. Find your breath. Keep the knees together once again. And experiment by pressing your weight forward and back as needed. 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath. And slowly lower down, down, and down. Let the hips come down at last and drive the knees up towards the chest. Give them a big squeeze here at first. Rock and roll back and forth. And come all the way up to a seat. Plant the hands. And you can either roll all the way through or try to lift. Shoot the legs back behind you. Inhale for upward dog. Exhale to downward dog. And then step or jump yourself back through to a seat. Legs long out in front. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, they come down. Try to catch toes with peace fingers. Inhale to lift your chest. And exhale to fold forward and down. Counter posture for that back bend we just completed. We find length in your fold with each exhale. Two more deep breaths here. Again, creating any length you can in your lower back. Last breath in and out. Then inhale to lift your chest. Exhale to release the hands back through center. I'm going to switch directions once more and roll through to tabletop if you'd like. Lengthen the legs behind, move through chaturanga, all the way down, chest on the mat. Take one breath here, move through baby cobra. Keep the chest high and lifted. Legs start to lift, arms start to lift, and they reach out in front. Again, engage the low back, the upper back. Find strength for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower the arms. Left arm reaches high, right arm comes behind, and roll yourself onto your back. Coming into our final posture for today, Shavasana. The resting pose. Take some time here for you, for yourself, as long as you can today. Let your arms be heavy. Let your head relax fully into the earth. Again, I invite you to stay here as long as you can. We'll come together, myself, to close class with a chanting of a single Om. As always, thank you so much for your time, for your practice today. Hands together at heart center. I'll exhale and inhale for sound. One look goes to third eye, bowing in respect and gratitude for each of you today. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.